From Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. The top stories tonight. President Tinubu inaugurates Lekki Deep Sea Port roads designed to unlock vital routes for trade and regional connectivity. Netherlands set to hand over to Nigeria more than 119 bronzes looted during 1897 British raid on Benin City. President Trump signs proclamation to ban travel from 12 countries to the U.S., citing security risks.
In business, federal government seeks emergency loan from Japan International Cooperation Agency to boost food security.
And in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles set to face Russia in first ever senior international meeting between both countries. Details in a moment.
Tonight begins now. Many thanks for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. We begin tonight in Lagos, where President Bola Tinubu inaugurated the Lekki Deep Sea Port Access Road, describing it as a legacy project that is strategic to investment, trade, and regional connectivity. Speaking at the ceremony in Lagos, Tinubu emphasized that roads are not just physical structures, but key enablers of economic growth, job creation, and national integration. Constructed under the tax credit scheme, the reinforced concrete roads linked the Lekki Deep Sea Port to major transport corridors, facilitating efficient cargo movement and improving logistics. The president also flagged off other major road projects.
It is therefore my pleasure to commission this road, Lekki Deep Sea Port Access Road, the bridges, Section 1, to the glory of God Almighty. Additionally, I'm also pleased to commission the following completed project by Zoom: the Akasai to Zaire Road, Kano State, done by CCECC, Chendam Bridge, Plateau State, Rakata, Pana Adeja section 282 kilometers, Kano Jigawa State. CCECC, Jimeta Bridge, Adamawa State. Ilobu and Ile Road, Kwara Osun State. Chamnuma Bridge, Adamawa State. CGC. It is also my pleasure to flag off the following project for the construction to the glory of God Almighty. Construction of Section 1, Phase 1B, 120 kilometers of Sokoto-Badagry Super Highway in Sokoto State. Construction of Section 2, Phase 2B, 258 kilometers of Sokoto-Badagry Super Highway in Kebbi State. Construction of Lagos-Calabar-Kosa Highway Section 2, 55 kilometers in Lagos to Ogun State, border and rehabilitation of Zaria, Okoyi to Daya Road Section 1, 2, and 3. It is great joy, honor to launch 152 kilometer reconstruction of Dikwa Gaboru Gala Road. 49.
Professor of Political Economy, Patutomi, has expressed his concerns over controversies trailing his proposed rallies for a shadow government in Nigeria. The professor expressed his frustration with the authorities in an interview on Wednesday, saying he may consider leaving the country over efforts to suppress his voice. Also speaking in a phone conversation with News Central, the academic challenged young Nigerians to not sit and watch their future taken away from them. He noted that he should not be left alone in the struggle for a better Nigeria because evil prospers when good men fail to act. According to him, there is nothing more for him to lose, but there is so much for the younger generation to gain. The Department of State Services, DSS, had on Wednesday filed a fresh application at the Federal High Court in Abuja seeking to restrain the former presidential candidate from making public statements or organizing rallies relating to his proposed shadow government. Let's have a conversation on this. We're joined now by the Director General at Big Tent Nigeria, Ibrahim Abdulkarim. Also joining us is a legal practitioner, Liboros Oshoma, to share their thoughts on this development. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for giving us your time. I'll start with you, Liboros, and just ask much ado about shadow government. Is holding rallies and making press statements against the principles of a shadow government? What is shadow government really?
Yeah, I want to look at this from two perspectives. One, if you look at it from the perspective of an NGO, then you would say that it's really, there's much ado about nothing. Because when you say a shadow government, the presupposition is that you are, just going to monitor the activities of the government and consistently, state how it can be done better, what the government is doing and what they are not doing well. On the surface level, fantastic. Nothing much. But if you look at the name, shadow government, and then you look at the Company and Allied Matters Act, for example, there are some names that are not registrable because the name will give the impression that it has the government imprimatur, that it has the government support. And the word shadow government is coined from opposition government in parliamentary system of government, where the opposition forms a shadow cabinet. You can't form a shadow government when you are not, in the opposition, or you have not contested a political party, contested an election. So if you look at it from that perspective, you would say that the name in itself is misleading, and that if it's about the name, then the name can be changed because really it is misleading, considering also the volatility of the political environment where you have agitation. Somebody can come up tomorrow and say he's forming an interim government. He says an NGO, an interim government. So for me, I think that name is misleading. The name can be changed, but the activities, to monitor the activities of the government, if the objective is to monitor the activities of the government and state how it can be done better, what is in a name? Whether you call it shadow government, that the government says is misleading, or you call it another name, you will still achieve the same aim. But I think that the
more you explain this, the more I worry that we live allegedly in a civilized environment, educated environment, and most people understand what a shadow government is. So these seeming cheats, some might wonder, might have other connotation aside from the aspect, the political aspect you explained it from. Let's come to you, Ibrahim, and just ask about the Big Tent coalition, because we understand that the shadow government is a birth of the Big Tent coalition.
Yes, it's from the government, it's from a Big Tent coalition. What we intend to do is that we invited people from the opposition party, we invited civil society organizations and NGOs, and as Ms. Pat Otome always said, it's an open. They just want to change the nomenclature or address us as he just announced a shadow cabinet in Big Tent coalition. What we intend to do is just to put an eye, because we have seen, because the first thing that came out is that we are going to do a 7.2 million people march to Abuja. And people are saying, to get what? We said we will need to get people to understand that the people that is sent to the National Assembly are not representing them. from what we have seen, they have just turned themselves like what they call the rubber stamp. And when we understand the issues in the country is that nobody is talking about the system that is rotten, that is falling on top of all of us. So the idea came from the prof is that why not organize ourselves, give ourselves a name so that we can go out and pick all these ministries, more especially at this crucial time when this budget has been signed, and you can see all what is being written on those particular what they call it, the information we are seeing from the budget itself and the planning that we have seen. Where are the people that are supposed to create that enabling environment where all the other political parties are in one dispute or another, and people are just moving from one party to another, despite the fact that we already have a law that if you leave your seat, because it is the party that has been voted for, not individuals. Because when you are voting for a governor, you are not seeing any name there. You see a party. So, but people are doing anyhow. Then Prof now put up a system. Okay, how do we now explain this to people? Okay, we organize ourselves and call ourselves shadow cabinet. Has nothing to do with shadow government. Nobody is going to take away the function of government. We don't have money to run government. What we just need to do is that help, talk to the government and talk to Nigerians, link the two together, show people that this is what government is doing right, this is what government is doing wrong, and this is how we want it to look like. I think any government will welcome this. If they are not so happy with this, sit down. I think he explained not once, not twice. If you call him to DSS office, if you call him as a government, he keep explaining. We are not here to take over anything or cause confusion or cause riot. What we intend to do, we have election again in 2027. What is just between the masses and the election is the awareness, so that they know how government's supposed to run.
Ibrahim, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you and talk about, again, the same argument that's been put forward by the DSS. But I wanted to ask Liberus about the concerns about that the Prof has raised, that the government, in trying to stop him from speaking, is also infringing on his rights. Is he breaking any laws? And do you think perhaps the amount of pressure being mounted is not commensurate to the good intention that the Prophet is putting on the table?
Look, let's not, you see, no matter the intention, let's look at these things holistically. No matter the intentions, there are some names. I can't, for example, I want to run a business.
No, away from the names. Sorry to interject. Away from the names. What the DSS is requesting is to stop him from making comments, holding rallies, talking about shadow government. I mean, what we understand shadow government to be, the definition is not exactly what is being held by the DSS.
Look, let me tell you, look, you can have good intention. You can have good intention, and then if the foundation is faulty, you create problems for yourself. Look, you have some persons in the Southeast who are agitating for referendum, agitating for secession, and the rest. And then you have a noble idea like this idea of ensuring that you create awareness and then ensure that people know what the National Assembly is for, and then what the National Assembly should do for the people as elections are approaching. And then you give it a name that is forbidden by the books. You give it a name that is not registrable. What that presupposes is that you really are not ready to push that agenda. If you really are ready to push that agenda, that's why I keep coming back to the name. The name will give your, let me use the government word, detractors, the opportunity to come at you. Look for another name that you can call it. You want to register a business, I will go back to that. You want to register a business, there are some names that you submit and they tell you the name is not registrable. You abandon that name and pick another name.
Okay, let me jump on that.
Shadow government at the, sorry, quickly, sorry. At the end of the day, it's the objective that matters. If the government says the name is forbidden because it gives the impression that some other persons will want to latch onto, it might not even be you. I can come up tomorrow and say, Padutomi was allowed to use the word shadow government. I want to use interim government. So what do? So what I will do if I were in that position, I go on with my rally, I look for budgets. Budget is doing the same thing, calling government to account, but the name is not forbidden. But at the end of the day, it is objective that matters.
All right, let's move a little more on the name. Ibrahim, okay, let's move a little more on the name. Ibrahim, I wonder, the DSS referenced a recent comment by Professor Padutomi saying that if they succeed with the suit in court, that the group might change the name to something else. Is that a possibility that can be considered to allow the purpose for which, because I mean, the name seems to be overshadowing every good intention that the idea was bettered from?
As a name for the DSS case at the court. What happened is that they give the name to the media and they ask the media to call us shadow government. In all our meetings, in all our proceedings, we have never mentioned shadow government. What we said is shadow cabinet, big tent shadow cabinet. Just create one person to a ministry so that he will assist us to get information, to know exactly what to do. When we come for a meeting, that person represents that organization and make a case for what he has seen the government is doing wrong and what the government is doing right. And we take it in and we make a press release. If we want to have a rally, we have a rally just to inform and actually talk to people. We have nothing to do with the name. The name is given to us by the media, formed by the government itself, just to give a dog a bad name. That's the intention. It's not our intention. And we have already talked about this thing. Name is not the problem. We will put up, if we test this.
Okay, so why is it taking so long then? If the government, Ibrahim, if the government is so against your choice, Ibrahim, sorry to interject, but if the government is so against your choice of words, and it seems to be distracting from the intent to, you know, put government on their toes, is it too much of a big deal to choose another name with the same intent and carry out your purpose?
I'm saying we don't call ourselves that name.
Shadow cabinet. If you say it's still shadow cabinet, I'm just asking, is it not something you could consider?
And an in-house working. Our name is Big Ten Coalition. Simple. They give us the name. So when we finish in the court, what we will do after the court, whatever, then we sit down and showcase who we are and what we are trying to say and the name. If the name is their problem, we set out that name aside and put up another name and still continue to give Nigerians what they deserve.
All right, Ibrahim, we're curious, how did you come about the name Big Tent?
Big tent is a tent, as you say, tent, like an umbrella, not umbrella, a tent where people can come and hide themselves, or sit down, or talk, or have a shed that will protect them from something. And that's where we get the name the Big Tent. And it's not today. It has been in existence for almost more than 5 years.
All right,
have our meetings.
Let's talk about the public response to Padutomi's efforts. I mean, he's already expressing frustration as to how the DSS is going about, you know, putting him under pressure and infringing on his rights to free speech. Do you think Nigerians should be speaking on these issues when you look at, you know, the concerns that everybody has, and Padutomi is just saying, I'm just one man trying to speak up on issues that needs to be addressed?
Sorry, Felicity, we speak up every day. Padutomi has been speaking up, a lot of us have been speaking up, and like I said, like the question you asked, the DSS has gone to court asking for a restraining order on that name. I don't think there is need wasting time. If you know that you didn't give yourself that name, the simple thing to do in your response to court is to say, this is not our name. We didn't give ourselves that name. We don't bear that name. We are Big Ten, and that's not our name. So you can restrain us from using the name. We really don't mind, so that we can focus on the issues and the things we want to do. So you leave out all of it, because now the name is taking over the objective that is to be achieved. And the Big Tent has been speaking out. Like I said, Budget is speaking out. Sisla is speaking out. CASA is speaking out. There are so many NGOs that are speaking out. But if we keep dragging on the name and the government says this name is not registrable, it's not allowed, and you insist that, oh, let the court decide whether we can use the name, it will slow you down, it will bog you down.
I'm really sorry to interject again. We're time constrained. I just have one more question for Ibrahim. It has to do with the name, the dates for the proposed rally. June 6th, that's what the DSS is saying, or June 12th, I'm not sure now. But Utomi said he is baffled about this and that rallies were scheduled for December. My question is not actually about the dates, but considering all that is going on, do you think that that rally would still hold? And if it will it still be on the premise that you are a shadow cabinet, or you're going to choose another name?
I'm very sorry to say we are just having a conversation with a bunch of people that are just busybody. For example, they just want to do something to please the leader or to please the government. They are not actually doing their work. They're supposed to look at exactly what we want to achieve. We didn't put up any date for the rally. We have not put up anything. They just pick speculation. They are not even sure what he wants to do, but they just jump into conclusion. Please, they should allow us to come and announce what we want to do, how we want to do it, what are the measures we have taken. Then if they see us going contrary to what government is, we are going to create chaos or any anarchy into the land, then they call us to order. But now they are not listening to us. They are not watching what we are doing. They just want to please the man on top to show that they are working. And gradually, they are not doing anything.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there, Ibrahim. I do get the strong sense that your group feels strongly misunderstood. I'm hoping that conversations like this will clear things up, and hopefully we'll continue to do what we need to do to get government to be more intentional. Thank you very much, Liboros and Ibrahim, for sharing your time with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, Edo State government intensifies war on human trafficking, rescues 20-year-old girl from Burkina Faso. Details of this and more when we return. You're watching tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu inaugurates Lekki Deep Sea Port roads designed to unlock vital routes for trade and regional connectivity. The Netherlands set to hand over to Nigeria more than 119 bronzes looted during 1897 British raid on Benin City. President Trump signs proclamation to ban travel from 12 countries to the U.S., citing security risks. Now, in a major move towards cultural justice, the Netherlands is set to return 119 stolen Benin Bronzes to Nigeria. These priceless artifacts were taken over a century ago during the 1897 British expenditure to the Kingdom of Benin. The collection, which includes plaques, a ceremonial bell, and a royal staff, has been held in Dutch museums for decades. The handover comes after an agreement between the Dutch government and Nigeria's National Commission for Museums and Monuments. And in Edo State, the government has successfully rescued a young girl trafficked to Burkina Faso 5 years ago. The operation marks a renewed commitment to the state, to fight against modern slavery. My colleague Israel Ferobo reports.
Emergency. This girl was trafficked from Nigeria to Burkina Faso in 2020 at the age of 15 for prostitution, and she's reaching out to us to help her reach her family and also to help her get back home.
A viral social media SOS message sparked outrage, and what followed was a rescue mission.
On my way to Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou to be precise, she rescued the miner that was trafficked out of the state to Burkina Faso.
20-year-old Okuobo Iwinosa is finally back home in Edo State, safe, supported, and starting her journey toward healing. Trafficked at the age of 15 to Burkina Faso, Iwinosa spent years in a foreign land until the Edo State government intervened to bring her home. The rescue was facilitated by the Office of the First Lady and the Edo State Migration Agency in collaboration with international humanitarian organizations. Governor Monday Okpebolo, represented by the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Samson Osage, says the Edo State government will continue to fight against trafficking in persons.
We thank His Excellency for this bold and significant rescue of our daughter Iwinosa, and it is now for the Office of the First Lady and the Edo State Migration Agency to endeavor to reintegrate our daughter into our society as mandated by the Edo State Migration Law. I congratulate ourselves and the family for the successful return of Iwinosa Okuobo.
Her story is a story of inspiration for another child. It's also a story of resilience because she cried out herself and said, I want to be rescued.
Currently under the care of the state government with other agencies like the Red Cross, Okuobo Iwinosa is receiving medical attention, psychological support, and reintegration plan.
The rescue mission wasn't easy, but it was worth it. We are working in line with what we believe, rescuing one another in time of need. You know, when Senator Adams Oshomole called Governor Abako Rescue, he wasn't mistaken because he saw it coming. That is what is happening today.
Red Cross, our primary objective is to provide psychosocial support and reassure the trafficked victim of a better life and good hopes in the future.
The mother of Iwinosa explains to News Central how it all happened and the joy she feels on her safe return and rescue.
The time I take almost, I don't know, 5 years I did it. Now I take almost 5 years. And the fair, no see her. Now I rest. I don't know because they carry her. My body sweet me well. It sweet me well, not be small. I appreciate governor where this governor, I appreciate them well. They do well for my body. What did they do for my body? I appreciate them well.
And I got the cry. She said my sister not call Nigeria. As she call Nigeria, so I call the happy.
Edo State, known for its past struggles with human trafficking, is now leading a regional response through education, rescue operations, and prevention strategies.
To sensitize the girls in every government school, but most importantly, as I said earlier, the parents of these children must be spoken to as well.
One life saved, many more to protect.
God will bless you.
As Okuobo Iwinosa begins her new chapter, Edo State stands firm in its promise. Trafficking will not thrive here. In Edo State, for News Central, Israel Ifirobo.
Many thanks, Israel. One at a time, indeed. Sigma Coating Nigeria Limited, one of Nigeria's leading indigenous protective coating brand, has launched its distribution center in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Players in the oil and gas, as well as maritime sector, who are major users of protective coatings, present at the event, expressed delight to have Sigma Coating in the South-South region, the hub of maritime sector in Nigeria. News Center's Biola Festus completes the story.
Sigma Coatings Nigeria Limited is a global manufacturer of PPG brands in Nigeria, harnessing global expertise and technical strength to specialize in protective and maritime coatings for the oil and gas, maritime and industrial sectors. After 20 years of operations in Nigeria, with its Lagos office serving as a hub, Sigma Coatings is expanding with the launching of a new distribution office in Trans-Amadi, a key industrial area in Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State.
Sigma is a good quality product, but we haven't been here, and because we haven't been physically here, others are trying to imitate, adulterate our product. Okay, so when you are not there, you become an absentee landlord, and the squatters take over. So we are back to take back the night. Okay, so we're back in full swing, and again, we're testing the market, the big distribution center, but subsequently, you know, we want to be able to have a full production center here for the South-South from here. So that's our goal, no less than what we were doing in Lagos or in any other places where we have our presence.
The partnership with PPG, a global leader in coatings, enhances Sigma Coatings Nigeria Limited's reputation for quality and durability. Their coatings are designed to protect onshore and offshore assets in marine and petroleum industries from corrosion, offering high standard coatings tailored to specific industry requirements.
We specialize in high quality, a little bit more complex. You know, with marine coatings, it's for ships, you know, it's for anti-fouling, you know. It requires more skills, you know, it requires a lot more, you know, it's more complex than just the architectural paint. That segment of the market that we are after is in this region, which is the marine, the industrial, you know, okay, coating business.
Partners and stakeholders in the maritime sector acknowledge Sigma Coatings' significant contributions to their business operations, applauding its efficiency in service delivery.
Providing coating solutions that consistently meet and exceed industry standards. The Port Harcourt Distribution Center represents strategic positioning in Nigeria's oil capital, reducing logistic costs, and improving service delivery to the industry.
In the Port Harcourt refinery project, presently, some of our contractors are using Sigma paint, PPG. Now you are moving closer to where we need you. And we also pray that the quality will not go down.
Sigma Coating says it is set to introduce spray-on insulation coatings for better protection against corrosive materials.
Our latest advancements have not only improved efficiency and productivity within our organization, but has garnered significant interest within the industry as a whole. Spray insulation coating will be tested on a 50 square meter area on an FPSO substrate offshore. That again is a new innovation for us.
With the swift pace of technological development in the maritime sector, Sigma is keeping up, and as an indigenous company, it promises to contribute to the development of the South-South region through job creations. In Port Harcourt for News Central, Biola Festus.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesom Wike, has tasked citizens to put behind the years of cynicism, indifference and hopelessness and form an alliance with the current administration to bet a new era for the country. Wike was speaking at a public lecture at the 2025 Distinguished Personality Lecture at the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, saying that Nigeria can achieve greatness and development. He called on citizens to support the current administration, saying that President Bola Tinubu means well for the nation and is committed to transforming the country. Outside our shores, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a new travel ban on 12 countries because of an attack on a Jewish protest in Colorado that authorities blamed on a man that they say was in the country illegally. The full travel ban affects nationals from Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. The restriction will take effect on June 9, 2025. In addition to the full ban, the proclamation imposes partial restrictions on citizens of Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. There are some exemptions, including athletes traveling for major sporting events, some Afghan nationals, and dual nationals with citizenship is unaffected in unaffected countries. I'm now joined by U.S. National Security, Defense, Intelligence, and Statecraft emerging practitioner, God bless Otubori, for this discussion. It's good to have you tonight. The latest ban is characteristic of President Trump. But I guess the question is, this time, why now exactly? And from what we saw in 2017, that was later repealed by Joe Biden, is this one here to stay?
Well, I mean, I would say this, it depends on the response from the countries, because it's not a decision that is without remedy, like just as the administration has said, that it's an ongoing review, and if these countries were to meet certain thresholds or they meet certain requirements, that they could be taken off the list, and even others who fail to maintain consistency would be added to the list. So whether it's here to stay, it's a matter of the administration. Of course, if you have Republicans will be winning again in 2028, that definitely means that it may become a staple. But again, this decision is not just a political decision, it's a national security decision. And it has heavy reasons for that to be done.
I mean, there's been some reaction already. The African Union has come up to say that, yes, the U.S. has the right to make decisions for its people, but they are saying that they should also look at the long relationship. One other country, I think Venezuela, has also responded, thinking of ways that they can make things a little easier. But Chad, of the three countries that have responded, Chad is defiant, and what they are doing is stopping visas for U.S. nationals. What's your assessment of the response from Africa so far? And do you expect more defiance or more of a placatory approach?
Well, I mean, look, the maxim is if you build it, they will come. If you make your country better, people want to come there for opportunities and all of that. So the U.S. has the upper hand at this time. But let me be very clear. Like I said from my initial statement, this is not just a political conversation. It's not just the president waking up one day and saying, I don't like people from these countries, I'm going to stop them from coming here now. I'd say it's a track record of, again, if you look at the White House's position, is that there's been visa overstays from most of these countries. And most of these countries from Africa, they have this reality, and that is the truth. Now, there are other countries that are, from Afghanistan and some other, Muslim countries that you would look at and say, what is the national security implication of having some people from these countries coming to the United States, not being properly vetted, and maybe they are not sharing information enough with the TSA and the DHS, so that the United States can be sure that the people coming in here are not going to pose a security threat to the country. Now, for Chad has the right to be defiant and say, okay, if you ban our people, we're going to ban your people. That's just going to be between Chad and the United States. And again, this comparative advantage. Do I want to go to Chad? I really don't know why people want to go there at some point. But of course, do I want to come to the United States? There are people who want to come here. But there are people who want to go to Chad for business and all the stuff. So I wouldn't say, oh, we shouldn't expect defiance and all of that. For the African Union, this is the time to do diplomacy and engage and say, look, what are these countries doing that we can help to ameliorate and ensure that you take them off the list? Again, like I said, if you build it, they would come. People want to come to the United States, and if if the government is saying for you to come here, when your citizens come and they overstay their visas, they come in with B1, B2 visas, and then they overstay, I can tell you for a fact, I'm not going to mention the name of the countries in Africa, there has been tremendous visa overstays right now since, post-COVID years, and it's been a huge drag on the U.S. economy. So, again, the government is responding based off of the data that they have. But of course, a lot of people will say it's not connected.
Just one more before we go. In 40 seconds, if you can. The U.S. President has said that the list could be revised. If material improvements were made and additional countries could be added as threats emerge around the world, what do you think the yardstick would be for measuring these material improvements?
Yeah, of course, there'll be measures. Again, it's about screening. It's about, so if you have more people from these countries not overstaying their visas and they're leaving, that goes back to DHS, and DHS says, okay, you know what, there's an improvement based on what we're saying in terms of travels and all of that. Again, it was realized that the United States is, the jewel right there. A lot of people want to, do the country harm, and for whatever reasons that they have. And I've said to people, if that is the case, the United States will not fold its arm and just watch people come in and commit this crime. So the United States is protecting itself from whatever ideas people have that may not be incongruent with, the national security interests of the United States. So I say, if they do improve, I am giving you the assurances that, of course, the United States will review that and take some countries out. And if there are countries where maybe somebody comes through that country and then causes a problem here, what you would have is that they may become part of the process. And I just hope that countries can learn from this and build their own countries better, make it better, so that, we don't have to go back and forth on this issue moving forward.
God bless. Thank you for speaking with us. We appreciate your time. Let's head over now to our business desk. Lekon is standing by with the latest. Lekon, what are we looking at?
Of course, the best way I can put it is that the Nigerian government is trying to secure some sort of loan to boost food security. It's a loan anyway, but I'll tell you more after this short time out. The federal government of Nigeria has intensified collaboration with the Japan International Cooperation Agency to implement 15 billion yen, that's about $110 million emergency loan aimed at strengthening Nigeria's food security. And this was revealed after a strategic meeting between Finance Minister Wale Edun, Agriculture Minister Senator Abubakar Kyari, and senior JICA officials. According to the Ministry of Finance, the loan will enhance food production systems and build resilience amid global supply disruptions and inflation. With the 2025 rainy season underway, both ministers stressed the urgency of executing key components of the program to provide timely support to farmers and rural communities. The initiative seeks to boost the domestic food output and reduce reliance on imports while fostering long-term agricultural sustainability. The Africa Finance Corporation is urging African nations to redirect $1.1 trillion in institutional capital held by pension funds, insurers, and sovereign wealth funds toward long-term infrastructure and industrial development. In its 2025 report, Mobilizing Domestic Capital, AFC estimates Africa's total domestic capital at $4 trillion, highlighting Nigeria's progress through infra credit. Pension allocations to infrastructure rose to over 242 billion naira. AFC CEO Samaila Zubairu and AU Commissioner Lerato Mataboge called for regulatory reforms, regional integration, and cross-border investments, and they stressed the need to prioritize local transformation and structured financial systems to unlock sustainable growth across the continent. We now look at Nigeria's equities market. The Nigerian exchange yet again extended its bullish momentum as the all-share index climbed 1.63% to close 114,616.75 points, while market capitalization surged 72.28 trillion naira, reflecting renewed investor appetite for equities. And talking about sectoral performance across the sectors, the banking index led the charge with a robust 2.46% gain, driven by strong demand in Tier 1 lenders. Insurance sector rose 1.31% as sentiment turned positive on select underwriters, and the oil and gas index advanced 2.36%, buoyed by price appreciation in major upstream players. Consumer goods added 0.84%, supported by buying in key FMCG firms, while the industrial goods sector posed a modest gain of 0.25%, sustaining its recent stability. Now, that's it on business news. I am Lekon Obanjo. We'll bring you more. To stay with us.
Tunde Koiki with me now for stories making headlines in sports. Tunde.
Well, Russia will face three-time African champions Nigeria on Friday evening at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow in what will be the first ever senior encounter between both countries. Now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria arrived in Moscow on the back of a 6-game unbeaten run across all competitions, having recorded 3 wins, 2 draws, and a penalty shootout triumph in their last outing. Excluded from the competitive action since February 2022, Russia found a way to remain active in the international scene by staging a string of international friendlies to keep their rhythm intact. Since the start of 2024, they've played 7 games, won all 7, scored 36 goals, and conceded none. And this includes identical 5-0 wins over Grenada and Zambia, and an 11-0 demolition of Brunei. Now, the continent's top 8 men's basketball club sides are gearing up for what promises to be a competitive grand finale of this season's Basketball Africa League. Nigeria's Rivers Hoopers, who finished 3rd in the 2024 edition, will battle Al Ahly of Libya, Al Ittihad of Egypt, US Monastir of Tunisia, Petro de Luanda of Angola, APR of Rwanda, Creole Star of Cape Verde, and FUS of Rabat, with matches taking place at the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria.
Clearly, we're trying to win everything. So every game, especially for me, and I think also for my teammates and the whole organization, the goal is to win every game that comes in front of us. We have a pretty good group of guys here, very solid. We have a great locker room right now, so we just trying to figure out a few areas where we need to be better at, and to try to stay prepared to start the tournament on a positive note tomorrow.
The next game is the most important one, so I would say right now Petro de Luanda, because we're matched up with them for a seeding game. But every game we play is very important, so every opponent we play, we take them very seriously because they're the best of the best, just like we're the best of the best.
Nigeria's national women's cricket team secured a dramatic 2-wicket win over Tanzania in the Kwibuka Women's T20 Tournament 2025. Chasing the target after Tanzania completed their 20 overs, Nigeria held their nerve to reach the total with just 2 wickets remaining, sealing a crucial victory. Now, the win comes after a narrow 6-run loss to Zimbabwe on Monday and a defeat to Brazil on Tuesday. Now, this result not only lifts the team's morale, but also keeps Nigeria's hopes alive in the tournament. The team will face host Rwanda on Friday at the Gahanga International Stadium in Kigali, Rwanda. And finally, Vasily Lomachenko has announced his retirement from boxing at the age of 37, hanging up his gloves as one of the greatest fighters in the sport's history. The Ukrainian walks away as a 3-weight world champion and 2-time Olympic gold medalist, having previously compiled a staggering amateur record of 396 wins and just 1 loss. Lomachenko last fought in May 2024 when he defeated Australia's George Kambosos Jr. in an 11th round stoppage and finishes with a professional record of 18 wins and just 3 losses. He confirmed his retirement in a message posted on social media on Thursday. Lomachenko, who clinched gold at Beijing 2008 and London 2012, won world championships at 3 weight divisions across featherweight, super featherweight, and lightweight during his professional career, reigning as unified world champion at lightweight. And that's all we have on sports. It's back to you, Felicity.
Edward joins me now for entertainment update. What are we looking at tonight?
Well, you know, every time I come up here and I start with a smile, it's about celebrating Afrobeats.
I like that.
Yes, because Thames is in the news and she's up there for something really remarkable for Africa. You know, but I'll give you the details right now.
All right.
Nigerian singer Thames was celebrated with the Diamond Award at Billboard's first ever Global Powers Players event in London, standing alongside icons like Sir Elton John and Empire CEO Gazi Shami. The award, presented by Billboard Africa's editor Nkosiati Komalu, honored Thames' global influence and contribution to music. In her heartfelt speech, she thanked Billboard for spotlighting African music and culture. Elton John was recognized with the Creators Champions Award, and Gazi Shami received the Clive Davis Visionary Award. The event also launched Billboard UK's Power Play chart. Now, Thames remains a trailblazer, now Billboard's most awarded African artist, and the first Nigerian woman honored at its Women in Music events. Felicity, you see why I was smiling.
Always a win.
She's always making Nigeria proud with her style, with her song. You know, it's all good. It's all good. Let's talk about someone who also made a mark in his time. A memorial service took place at the Pretoria State Theatre to honor Presley Chwenehai, who passed away last week at the age of 40 after experiencing breathing problems. Chwenehai is celebrated for his leading role in the 2005 film Tutsi, which won South Africa's first ever Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. His performance in the movie brought him international recognition and marked a historic moment for South African cinema. Friends, family, and fans have gathered to pay their respect and celebrate his legacy, remembering him not only as a talented actor, but also a significant figure in the country's film history. Well, may his soul rest in peace, and yes, the influence he has kept in South Africa will keep on growing because his legacy would live on. Felicity, that's well, it was a huge loss for South Africa, seeing that this guy was there. He created this first Academy Award for South Africa for Best Foreign Film, and it was quite unfortunate.
It's a good thing that he's being celebrated. One thing is to leave, and the other thing is to leave well and be celebrated by those you left behind.
Exactly.
May so rest in peace.
Definitely. Well, that's all we have on entertainment tonight.
Finally tonight, Vice President Kashim Shettima on Thursday led other Muslim faithful for the funeral prayers of the late elder statesman and renowned medical scholar Professor Jibril Aminu at the National Mosque in Abuja. Professor Aminu, a former Minister of Education and Petroleum and one-time president of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, passed on in Abuja on Thursday after a prolonged illness. The Vice President noted that Professor Aminu's demise was a great loss to the nation, describing him as one who had left behind shoes too hard to fill. That's it tonight, but before we go, a quick reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu has inaugurated Lekki deep-sea port roads designed to unlock vital routes for trade and regional connectivity. The Netherlands is set to hand over to Nigeria more than 119 bronzes looted during 1897 British raid on Benin City. We also brought you news that President Donald Trump has signed proclamation to ban travel from 12 countries to the U.S., citing security risks. Would love to hear from you. Please send us your eyewitness reports to the numbers showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media to do that. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on the STV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching tonight. Have a good night rest.